making it. Going up against another team, Jeffrey Moore has opened access to the bucket. What you saw from that normal replay of that last bit of action was Juan Fernandez actually wanting to dish off the against pass to Jaworski. We're crossing the twilight zone. That's an eternity of basketball ahead of us.
Good morning, everyone. This is an eternity of basketball, and we will start 150 soon. But we remind everyone we're part of the Globally Ballin Network, and you can catch Who the Heck Are We? Latest episode 118 with Kevin Goko and Vic Hermans, the PFF futsal deputy head and technical director. So just check that out on Who the Heck Are We? Most popular episodes on YouTube. Bernie Fabiosa is number 1, all the way down to Manny Paner. All those legends are the top 10. Which one is your favorite? Watch it all on YouTube. Check out the Globally Ballin Network, globallyballin.com for original articles, audio and video projects, all the shows on YouTube, social media. Check them all out and get Globally Balled. Okay, Twitter. We're on Twitter now, Globally Ballin Twitter account. You can catch live episodes of An Eternity of Basketball on the Twitter page of Globally Ballin. So please do check that out. Another medium to watch our live shows. Follow us on social media, linktree/globallyballin for easy access to all of that we just mentioned. Okay, here we are. It's a Friday morning, so it's a Friday edition for this week. We're all in our AEOB gear. I'm Charlie Cuna together with Noel Zarate and Sid Ventura. Episode 150. So another milestone para sa aming show.
150.
150, yes, sir. And our show for today, it's a special one because for me, a personal favorite. I saw him in a magazine in Street and Smith's back in about 87, I think. And I saw him swooping in for a dunk like that. And I said, oh, this guy looks awesome. And a couple of years later, he was in the Philippines, played for popular Añejo Rum. And Pure Foods actually brought Pure Foods its first championship, helped lead them to the first championship in franchise history. They've won a bunch since then, but he was the first. Okay, he was on the first team. He's now based in South Carolina, but originally from Philadelphia. Played for the Lehigh Engineers, now called the Mountain Hawks. He is one of only 8 Division I players in the US NCAA with more than 2,700 points and more than 1,000 rebounds. His number was retired by his school. He led his team in scoring for all 4 years that he played in the US NCAA. So, that's such an interesting resume already, but we want to hear it straight from his mouth. Let's bring him in. Mr. Daren Queenan is with us this week on AEOB. Hey, Daren, thanks for coming on.
Welcome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What an introduction. I really appreciate it. Sometimes you forget. You're like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, I did reach those milestones.
Yeah. You were just one of the top scorers in NCAA history. Not a problem, right?
That is correct, and I can tell you the story how I became the top scorer. It was kind of funny. It was my freshman year. It might have been like my third game. My third game, I think we were playing Rider University, and I was like 2 for 3, had like 3 rebounds, and the coach, he took me out the game. So you're a freshman in college. You're trying to figure out, okay, did I miss a defensive assignment? Did I not run the right play? And so the coach, Fran McCaffrey, coaches at the University of Iowa now. So he comes to me, he says, you know why we took you out, right? I was like, no. He says, well, you're not here to pass the ball. I'm like, oh, okay. What am I supposed to do? He said, shoot. I said, okay, coach, you'll never have a problem again.
You got the green light so early in your career, right? And you kept going.
Yes. Well, at least we never had to have that conversation again.
Hey, Daren, before we start your story, we'll go back in time, of course, to where you began. But I'd like to show you this message. There's someone who commented. She says, hi, handsome.
Oh, yeah.
Carla Parker Queenan.
That's the beautiful wife right there.
All
right.
She
says, what's your number?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she knows your number. So thanks for watching, Carla. But let's go back to the start.
Sure she's just in another room.
Yeah. Because you mentioned your freshman year in college, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go all the way back. In Philadelphia, you're a little kid. Why choose basketball, Daren? I mean, it's a football place as well. There's some baseball also there. So why was it basketball for you?
Well, it was kind of funny. I played all 3 sports. I actually played football, basketball, and baseball. And when I was a little kid, I actually was better in baseball. I don't know if my Northstonian community can remember, but I with a lot of home runs. And maybe I'm thinking I should have stuck to it because, I'm 6'4". I was pretty quick. That's a pretty tall outfielder. But the reason why I chose basketball, because most of my friends played basketball. And also my oldest brother, he was a huge influence. Like he was our 8th grade star in middle school. I wasn't. I was just joining the team to help him out. And it kind of progressed from there.
All right. When you were at Norristown High School, is that the first competitive formal type of basketball that you played when you were on the varsity, I suppose, in high school?
Yeah, that's kind of the first time. Actually, like I was a sophomore, and it was going in between. They had varsity and they had junior varsity. So I was playing extremely well in junior varsity, and then playoff games, I was able to slide in there and play some varsity, did pretty good for the limited amount of time I was playing. And then I went to, it was some academic like school during the summer. I went to Cheney State University.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Andrew Fields.
Okay. Right. And then that's when I would start playing against the college kids when I was a sophomore turning to the junior. And that's when my brother said, you know what, Daren? You're going to start for the high school your junior year. I said, really? He said, yeah, you are killing these people. I said, oh, okay. He said, they're college. So he was the one telling all my friends, no, Daren's going to start. I'm telling you, Daren's going to start his junior year. And they didn't believe him. And I kind of was like, okay, sure. But then when I started playing, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am going to start.
Nice.
Daren, we usually ask who our guests who their idols were, but seeing as you're from Philadelphia and judging from that poster behind you, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's Dr. J.
Oh, of course. You got Dr. J, and now you got Embiid.
Sixers.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
Sixers all the way, huh?
Sixers all the way. Dr. J. Irving. Oh yeah, to me also, but I also admired another player on there, Andrew Toney. I don't know if people remember Andrew Toney.
Boston Strangler.
Boston Strangler, yes. Oh my goodness.
Daren, these two guys, Noel and Sid, these are Boston fans, so they know Andrew Toney.
Yeah. Killed us many times too.
Yep.
Yes. Well, that's why they had to get DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Well,
Amazing.
what did you like about Andrew Toney's game?
Oh my God, he was just, back then they didn't have 3-point, but he was a mid-range assassin, and he could catch fire. I mean, it was just like everybody would pay attention to Dr. J, and at the end of the game, Andrew Toney had like 40. So I just liked him. He was smooth, 15 to 17 feet out. I mean, he was just money, and he wasn't that big of a guy. He was only like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that's about my size. Oh, all right, that looks good. If he could shoot like that, I could work hard to shoot like that as well.
Right. And were you exclusively basketball already at this time? You stopped the baseball already and the football and all of that. You were basketball already, right?
Yeah, because I was hitting the books. That's one thing. I was always studying, and I said, you know what? I can't spread myself out too thin, so I'm just going to focus on one sport. And like I said, my brother and most of my friends played basketball, so I said, okay, well, I'm going to concentrate on basketball, and the height helped as well. I was a little taller than everybody at that level.
Noel.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, before I go to my next question, who was the better big guy for you in the 76ers? Was it Daryl Dawkins or was it Moses Malone?
Or Caldwell?
Or should I reserve? I think Charlie might have that question later on, but yeah.
Listen, it's a very easy question. It's definitely Moses Malone.
Yeah.
I met Daryl Dawkins. Now unfortunately he passed away. So has Moses. Yeah. But Daryl, the funniest personality.
You're right. Yeah, we met him when he came over here. He was the loudest guy in the group when he came over here. Always full of energy. Yeah.
I met.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I met Daryl.
Go ahead.
I met Daryl Dawkins. He was a coach of the USBL team that was coaching at Lehigh that played at Stabler. So when I was overseas, they just asked me, hey, can you come show up a couple games? I said, well, I don't want to go on the road. I said, no, just home games. We just need you to show up. I said, okay. And that's how I met him.
Yeah.
This is the Pennsylvania Valley Dogs, right?
The Valley Dogs, right?
Yeah.
The Valley Dogs.
That's correct.
Yeah. There's a couple of Filipinos who played.
Yeah,
exactly.
A
couple of Filipinos played for him. Vince Heason, right?
Yeah, that's one of them.
And Bong Alvarez, I think, played for
that's
the
right.
Valley Dogs.
Okay.
Two guys who've been on our show.
Yeah, my other question is why Lehigh? I'm sure you were recruited by a lot of other big universities, and then you wind up in Lehigh.
Well, I can tell you what happened. My junior year, I was being recruited by several Division I colleges, like Villanova came to see me. I even got a letter from Georgetown. But I think the problem was when I was a junior, I was playing small forward. Now, my senior class, I was like the second tallest. We had another guy who was 6'6", Lou Simpson, but they put me at center. So they said, okay, we don't know his progression on the wing because he can't play down low at the Division I level. So from that point on, I had like a lot of academic schools like Lehigh, Lafayette. Brown sent me, it was Brown and was another Ivy League school. So it was those type of schools that were really coming after me very hard. But every time I turned around, I saw Fran McCaffrey. And I really liked Fran. The school at the time, they were 4-23. Like my senior year, I went to visit. They were 4-23, and I was like, okay, well, this is an opportunity that I can come in and I can make an immediate impact and perhaps help change this program around. So that really resonated with me. Plus, it's a great academic school.
Mm-hmm. But that's awesome. That's awesome on your part because normally a player would want to join a program that's already, rolling.
Winning.
But then
Yeah.
for you to be willing to come in and have that confidence to say, I'm going to change this, I'm going to bring this program up. Hey, that's admirable because normally you want the whole team to be in place already. But you did come in, and when you entered, was Fran your head coach immediately? Or was it still Schneider at the time?
Snyder was just there for 1 year. He was there my freshman year.
Okay. Yeah, but you came in and scored 18 or so points a game immediately, grabbed like 8.5 rebounds. So was it the same thing too? I mean, so you said they gave you the ball, but is it because there was a lack of talent on your team?
Well, it was a lack of scoring talent. Let me word it that way. So we had players who would run a system, very high IQ, play tremendous defense, but there was a lack of scoring. So they thought I would be a good fit. Hey, Daren, and it gave me the opportunity to develop my skill set as well. So then I was going back on the perimeter, and that's when I really had to start developing my jump shot instead of just relying on my athletic ability.
Right. And that jump shot's really awesome. I'm sure you guys you remember that, Noel and Sid. That jump is hard to block because you jump. How high could you jump? Did they ever measure how high? Can you jump?
Charlie, when he said Andrew told me everything fell into place.
Yeah. high release jump shot. But
exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure they measured your vertical at one point. How high was it?
I was it 42? About 42.
Oh, that's
42.
very high. That's very
crazy,
high.
Yeah.
But 42 inches.
That's almost 4 feet high.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you this post. I was 33 and I still could jump pretty well. But this was end of my career. I think I was 33.
He's got all his stuff right there. Yeah.
No. This is ripped though. I was 33, turning 30. I think 33 or 34 it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And your head's right by the. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
that's how we remember you.
That's pretty good for an old man at that age.
Yeah. Well, speaking of jump shots, you got a Pure Foods fan here who's sharing his memory of you. He says he remembers when you hit that 3-pointer in the dying seconds of Game 5 versus Alaska. Our fans remember stuff like that. Can you imagine that? That was like 30 plus years ago.
Oh, they're going to help you remember a lot of stuff, actually.
Well, that game I do remember. Actually, that series I do remember because it was Coach DeLupin. We had some very good young players. We had JoJo. We had Allen, Nelson. And we were down like 2 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're down 0-2 to the Milkmen, Alaska Milkmen, and they had some very good player. I think they had Alvarez. I remember that guy he could jump. He was only about 6'1".
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't stand underneath the basket. It'll get you. They also had Sean Chambers and Carlos Clark. So we were down 0-2, and I just remember I was like, hey, let's just take one game at a time. And I just said to myself, you know what? If we get into a game and I got an opportunity to try to win it, I've been practicing on my shot. I would take this 3, and it would end. And once it hit, I was good because about a minute, I'm pretty sure they would have put me on the airplane.
Yeah, well, that was the first ever championship of the Pure Foods franchise, so it's very memorable to its legions of fans.
Right, because they're one of the most popular teams still now.
We'll get to that more later during our time capsule. I have a photo of the championship game.
You did have NBA aspirations, of course, with Lehigh. I mean, who wouldn't have any NBA aspirations? How close did you feel you were when you were playing for Lehigh University of making it to the NBA?
Well, I thought I was extremely close. What I thought was going against me, like for example, Lehigh was kind of like an unknown commodity when it comes to producing talent. So I think I was like first one that there's, maybe they do have talent at Lehigh. I remember there was an all-star game. They had it in California. I don't know. I can't remember where it was exactly played, but they had like an all-star team. It was like Reggie Theus, Leon Woods. It was a big guy. I think it was LaSalle Thompson from Indiana Pacers. And I played, and it was Isaiah Kane, and it was like Rodman as well. And like one game I had like 42 points.
Wow.
So I think I was very close, but they wanted me to, because of my height back then, they had more of the traditional guards. So it was like, okay, can he run the point? Because with Detroit, they had combo guards. They had like Joe Dumars could do 1 and 2. I said, so I think that hurt me a little bit because I wasn't really like at that time it really developed to handle the point guard. I think if it was this era, if I played in this era, yeah, I could be, because it's more small ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Sorry.
Detroit
did
also
the
had
scouts? Who are you talking about? Vinnie Johnson.
yeah,
Vinnie
Vinny Johnson. I was gonna
Yeah,
add, we were talking about those combo guards. You know, it's
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
they
those
were
combo
pretty-
guards.
they were
That
pretty
was
deep
a
back then.
a crazy 3-guard rotation for the Pistons, by the way.
Hey, I was going against him. I'm like, you're looking for somebody that you can, okay, well, maybe I can take an advantage, but you're looking at Joe Dumars, you're looking at, I said, you tell it's Vinny, you're like, oh my God. Great.
Yeah. They did go back to back eventually. That team, But so the scouts, the NBA scouts, that's what they were saying. It's like, you'd have to play this. You'd have to play this position if we're gonna get you. And eventually, so the NBA, you had a great career. We know that your team did fairly well. You improved as your years went on. Even in the conference, you played better. Your stats were crazy. There's this one other teammate that you had who, his name's Mike, right? And he had his number
Mike
retired as
Plaha.
well.
Yeah, Mike
So
Plaha.
the three of you. It's CJ McCollum and the two of you, right? Your numbers have been retired. But so
That's
you
right.
realize, what's next? If it's not the NBA, what's next for you? At that point, was it clear that it was going to be the CBA already? Was it the USBL? What was next for you?
Well, what was next for me really was unclear at that time. You're just trying to figure things out. You're just trying to say, okay, do I want to go overseas? Do I want to go into CBA? Do I want to try to possibly play in an NBA long term? So initially I was just happy because I never thought I had a chance to play in the NBA coming from high school, to be honest with you. As I start playing at Lehigh and I start realizing, there's actually NBA scouts, and they're like, Daren, they're coming to see you. And it was also another person in our league, Michael Anderson. I was like, okay, well, maybe I do have a shot. So, but once that was done, it was really okay. Just let's have fun and let's see where it goes.
I want to interject before we move on, guys. I was looking at the old ECC. That's where Lehigh was. That conference, right? The East Coast Conference.
Correct.
They had the coolest names for schools at the time, back in the 80s. Listen to the lineup: Bucknell, Lafayette, Drexel, Ryder, Delaware, Lehigh, Hofstra, and Towson. Those are the schools in the East. Those are the coolest school names. It wasn't the best conference, but the names were cool. But that's changed now because Lehigh's with the American League now, right? In the American Conference.
I think it was
the Patriot League.
yeah.
The Patriot League, rather. Yeah, Patriot League. So then the schools have changed as well. It's not a school
Right.
anymore. The lineup isn't a school. But back then I was looking, wow, man. And then you mentioned Michael Anderson. He's from Drexel. He played for the Pacers.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
He was in the Philippines.
You guys were fighting for the Player of the Year all the time, right? It was you and Michael Anderson, I think, a couple of years.
Yeah, I won like Rookie of the Year. he won like Player of the Year. I won Player of the Year. Then he won it senior year. So, but I say I trumped him because we actually went to the NCAA twice, which is more important to me.
Right. Of course. I mean, everybody wants to get to the dance, right? But okay. Since we're talking about this, we're going along the timeline already of Daren, guys. Why don't we enter the time capsule already? What do you guys think?
Yes, go. Let's
Good?
go.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. We have the time capsule. These are slides. These are photographs that Sid prepared based on what we found online about you. So the time capsule is brought to us by Champ's House of Chicken, Tagaytay. Check out their special house roast chicken. It's really good.
Oh, that looks good.
Those sauces on the side are really good. Garlic and gravy.
Good.
Oh,
yeah. Check it out. Champ's House of Chicken. They deliver to Metro Manila, Cavite, and Laguna via Lala Move and Tok Tok. Okay. So Champ's House of Chicken. Let's enter the time capsule now. All right.
Whoa.
Still looks the same, I was saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but cut hair.
Yeah. The head's not as shiny, but
Right.
Converse.
No, I just want to know what memories flash back to you when you see your mugshot and you with the ball.
You know, what flashes back to me is a place where I originally went to my visit, which was practically empty, and now we were playing in a place that was sold out several times. The excitement was there. They enjoyed the type of basketball that we were able to present. So my teammates and I think it's a job well done because they remember our class. A lot of times they still remember myself, Mike, and the fact that other players as well. But the fact that we actually went to the NCAA, played Georgetown when they were ranked #1 with Patrick Ewing, Reggie Wingate. Oh my God, that was a tough team. Mm-hmm. And Michael Jackson as the point guard. And then Temple, my senior year, with the great late John Chaney, who passed away. And they had a great team. Remember, they had Mark Macon. They had Tim Perry, Mike Wieswick. He was a local. Yeah, he was a local. He could shoot the ball. Remus, he was a big old center. And Howard Evans, who was a great Philly guard as well.
Right. Howie Evans, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But who were the guys that you remember you played against? Who were these big names that they met their match in Daren Queenan? You could actually match these guys. I mean, even if they went on to become, let's say, NBA stars, but who do you remember matching up with when you were at Lehigh?
I tell you what, I think I got some respect my sophomore year. We played Iowa, and his name was Roy Marble. He was a projected #1.
Roy
Marble. Played here too.
Roy Marble.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he probably remembers me, and I played extremely well against him. And I had like 29, and I made the all-tournament team, and I think that really opened up their eyes. And also, when we played Vanderbilt, they had Will Perdue, who was like a 7-foot center, and I had like 30 points, and I still grabbed like 12 rebounds.
Well, let's just put it this way: Will Perdue wasn't really known for his rebounding.
Well,
yeah, those short arms, right?
At the time, he was a highly projected first rounder.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was an All-American, if I'm not mistaken.
He was, and drafted by the Bulls, but never quite lived up to the
right. That's true. But the thing about like where I come from, Philadelphia has like a plethora of players. Yes. So like I met and it was amazing. A great scorer from LaSalle University, like Lionel Simmons, and he knew who I was. So for me, that's like, oh my goodness. All right, maybe I'm doing something right here. I remember I met Maurice Cheeks, Walking in Philadelphia, had a talk with Maurice Cheeks. I was like, oh, okay, good. My idol, as you can see, I'm gonna tell you a story about my idol, Dr. J, and it's funny. When you finally meet the guy, I couldn't talk to him, so we were at an airport, Philadelphia airport, and this guy is taller than myself. He walks right on me, and my wife is like, "Man, this guy is really on you." I said, I'm gonna turn around and say something to him. And I turn around and it's Dr. J. So you're like, oh my God, I can finally meet the guy and talk to him. And he goes, yeah, okay, I respect your wishes.
with that long finger of his.
Yeah. Yes, I'm like, oh my God, you finally meet your idol and then he gives you this.
Did you ever get to talk to him eventually down the road, at least?
No, I never ran across him again.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, you got right beside, so close, huh?
So close.
But that was.
Yeah, he didn't want to attract attention, obviously.
Yeah,
excited like heck.
Especially in Philadelphia. So I understood.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the doctor. But then just one thing about Roy Marble, Roy Marble has passed on already.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just read about it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
played for Ginebra, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I know he came here for a while, but he didn't stay the whole conference.
He didn't stay the whole conference. He was eventually replaced, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you some other names that I played against that I thought he'll recognize me. He probably know who I am. Remember John Starks?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I played against John Starks, and I played well. We had something called the World Basketball League, so it was like 6'5" and under.
Right.
And that's where I played against John Starks, and I think he probably knows who I am, or he probably said, "Oh yeah, I know who that guy is." Chris Childs also.
Mm-hmm.
I played
with New York guys.
Another Nick.
Yeah, the Knicks.
I played with Chris Childs. And then also I played with, here's a name. I know he has 2 NBA rings from the Houston Rockets. And he gave me the ultimate compliment because he was a great player. Remember Mario Ellie?
Of course. Yeah.
Big shot against Phoenix.
Yeah. He gets some death against the Suns, right?
Yeah.
So we played together in Albany, and I remember Mario. He looked at me. He said, "You know what, Q? You can play." I was like, "Okay, that's good."
Thanks. Mario Ellie was recruited by Pure Foods. He almost played for Pure Foods, Daren.
Oh, they would have had a fantastic player. They got Mario.
But I guess the NBA was calling as well, and you know where to go.
Oh, I'm thinking, at your age, when people were giving you compliments, didn't you get invited to like any veteran camps and say, let's give it another shot at your late 20s?
Well, it was Houston and it was Detroit. Okay. So my first opportunity was with Houston. So Rudy Tomjanovich, he wasn't the coach, but he really liked me. And like a month before training in camp, he brought me down, and I had the same agent as Ralph Sampson, so I stayed at his house. So Rudy was working me out, and I remember we played the Washington Bullets. I had like 9 points. I hit a 3, and I was like, okay, I played exceptionally well. And then against Milwaukee, I came in and hit my first 2 shots. And then the next game, I didn't play at all. And I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
But I remember Hakeem Olajuwon used to say, call me Leaper. He was, Leaper. I was like, okay, that's nice.
Leaper.
So and then that's when I played in the CBA. I did extremely well in the CBA. So Detroit was willing to pay me to try out, especially when I went to the Summer League and I did well. And I didn't make it there, but then you have to make a conscious decision. And the problem is, like, if you go to Europe, for example, they start September. you got to be there in September, whereas the training camps, the veteran camp starts like September, October.
Mhm.
So there's overlap. So once you would try out, then it would be hard to get a job overseas because they would already had their players. So, and I wasn't born with a silver spoon, so I had to decide, okay, maybe you need to make a little coin, some money instead of just chasing that NBA dream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you didn't do too badly in the CBA, judging from your stats here. Averaged 24.7 points a game in in 51 games.
Oh yeah, it's.
Well,
I tell you what really helped me, and I hope I'm not jumping over. Ayeho Rum was my first professional contract, my first time overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you a person who was a tremendous help was Jaworski. Ron Jaworski really showed me the ropes. I was with Ron Jaworski almost
Robert
Jaworski.
Yeah.
All the time. And he really helped me learn the profession, on how to prepare. See, I was a young kid. So when you're a young kid and it's your first time, you really don't know how to prepare, the expectations. So someone's teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in college, hey, I just showed up to the game. I could just dominate. But when you start playing professionally, then you go, okay, you got to eat right. You got to get your sleep. And I think his wisdom actually helped me with pure foods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How ironic, huh?
Well, it really did, because like some of the players, you got to remember, like a Bobby Parks, they were older than myself, who's guys who already been there. I did well, but what I didn't do well at that time is learn how to actually finish the game. I learned how to dominate the game at certain points, but now I learned how to finish the game and win the game. That's what he was teaching me. And sometimes I was saying to myself, well, it would have been nice if he brought me back, because now I understand the role. But he was a tremendous help, believe it or not. And I think Pure Foods actually got the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Of Jaworski's knowledge that he was able to apply to me.
Well,
Did you guys
just wanna-
talk? Yeah, would you talk? I mean, because you say he imparted things, would the two of you sit down and he would tell you, "Hey, Daren, this is how or did he just show it on the court and you'd hear it during the scrimmages?"
It was both. It was both. He was an excellent X and O guy. He was excellent in terms of, here's how you take care of your body, here's how you prepare for your team, here's what the team's expectation are. So it wasn't just the practice. It was like he was famous, and probably his players would tell you as well. He would always have events at his house. Always have events at his house, getting the team trying to gel. Like I said, he was a great leader. So I learned a lot from him. I just wish he was a little more patient, because it was my first time actually, just like I say, playing in a professional atmosphere. But I learned the most from him, and I think that helped propel my career, not only in the Philippines but other places as well.
Nice.
Well, I just wanted to ask you, because you said that the Philippines gave you your first professional contract. I mean, what was it like traveling like more than 12 hours to get to a foreign country? And then what were your first impressions about this country?
Well, my first impression is, you're excited. It's like, for me, it was like, man, I'm going out to the country. It's exciting. everything was new, a new culture, the education. Here's the great thing: everybody spoke English, so it was very easy to I would say adopt and like engulf yourself into the environment. But I still knew I had a goal. You know, my goal was I was trying to make the Yale Rum fans happy, but I kind of fell short. But luckily, I was able to make the pure food fans happy.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, in terms of the level of play in the PBA, you know, what was your first impression, your first game, and you know, did anyone give you a rough time your first time out there?
Like, who welcomed you to the PBA?
Or everyone gave you a rough time. No?
Well, you know, I think my hardest time was really with Bobby Parks. Like I said, the only thing is because I learned from him as well, and Coach Jaworski helped me. He played consistently throughout the whole game. Whereas, like I said, in the beginning, I would have some good spurts, but I needed to learn how to finish the game. So sometimes you would kind of let your teammates, if they're hot, let them stay hot a little bit so you can kind of preserve your energy, but you play good defense, you rebound, and then you have that scoring punch at the end because you have a little more energy. So I had to learn how to pick my pockets and more or less just trying to dominate the game throughout and then don't have the energy at the end. Because it was more when you play professionally, and you have better skilled players. Like when I was playing at college, I just dominated the whole time. But when the level is higher, you can't dominate all the time. So you exert a lot of energy. So you got to learn how to rely on your players and when to dominate to take control of the game. That's what he was teaching me.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned Bobby Parks. Yeah. What's your first impression when you played against him? He was playing for the Shell back then.
Yeah.
Well, he was athletic. So I was saying to myself, well, I'm just as athletic. So it wasn't his athletic ability. That didn't really faze me. But what fazed me, the guy was in great shape. I was like, man, this guy just keeps coming at you.
yeah, that's true.
You know, he was a great jumper. I was a great jumper. I could jump and get the rebound just as high as him. But I was like, man, this guy just keeps coming. And so I wanted to say, you know what? I got to get in better shape because I need to keep coming as well.
You
were the younger one, right?
You were the younger one.
Right. 24 when you entered the PBA?
Yeah.
Yes. I was when I first went to Yale Rum, I was only like 21, 22 at the most.
Wow.
Yeah. No, but just a bit of trivia. You know, Bobby Parks played so well. He won the best import thing 7 times, and now the best import award now is called the Bobby Parks Best Import Award.
Yeah, it's named after him
in the PBA.
And that's fitting. And that's fitting. I could tell. I was like, oh yeah, Bobby Parks is a pretty tough player. I need to get there.
You became the yardstick, huh?
Yeah.
When you were with Añejo, who did you gravitate towards among the local players? I mean, who was your best friend on the team? Who would you like to hang out with, and where'd you go?
Well, you know, I really when you're young, I didn't really hang out that much, and I didn't have like a best friend. It really was Jaworski, to be honest with you. Anything I needed, I asked Jaworski. He made sure I was taken care of. And a lot of times when you play, they give you a driver.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a driver. So your driver, you just say, hey, where can I go to get something to eat? They would take you. They would take care of you. But my first time there, like I said, I was just too nervous. I didn't want to lose the game. And someone says, oh, we saw Mr. Queenan partying that night. So I kind of
right. At the Silayas Hotel, I would think, right?
At least you cared. A lot of the other imports.
Right. So I normally stayed in an apartment.
Okay, just watch some TV.
Yeah, watch some TV. And, you know, but, you know, the players for Añejo, like there was Remy, there was what was his name? It was Remy. What's the one with the mustache again? The
Leo
point.
Isaac?
Leo?
Isaac
Leo.
Leo.
or Joey Loizaga?
Lasaga. Yeah. So I knew those guys. They were very friendly. Yeah. And Remy was a little taller. He's about 6'.
Mamaril.
6'6".
Rami
Yeah,
Mamaril.
Mamaril. Okay.
Yeah, he was slim though. He was slim.
Yes.
So hopefully
Yeah.
hopefully he widened out a little bit.
I think
I don't
he's
think
still
that
about
happened.
the same, I think. Yeah, I think he's still about
Yeah,
the
he's
same
still
now.
thin. Although his son also played in the
His son
PBA,
played,
he had a he had a little more bulk in him.
Okay. And then was there 6'5" guy? Was it Fernandez? Was that his last
Juan
name?
Fernandez.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
It's for,
Well,
He
he
was
played
about
for
6'5".
yeah, he
But
played
he
for
wasn't
for
your
Pure
teammate.
Foods. Yeah, but he
Fernandez
wasn't your teammate.
For Pure Foods, he wasn't there anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mon
He's
was
in San Miguel
already
in
with San
89.
Miguel by the time
Yeah.
Daren came over.
Okay.
So, but he was one of the best centers at the time. Mon
Yeah.
Fernandez.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you had to
here
guard
you
him.
are. Yeah. Here's some more Añejo pictures,
Yeah,
Daren.
that's
See how
that's
skinny
Joey.
see how skinny I was? I mean, I was I'm like at 21, 22-year-old, that's good. But I by the time I went to Añejo, I was kind of hitting the weights a little harder.
But I'd like to go back to the CBA discussion, though. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many crazy stories about the CBA and how how getting around from town to town was difficult, and the coaches were characters and all that. You got
And
to
there
play
were
for
drugs.
some-
There was also drugs in the
yeah,
CBA,
there was
right?
drugs, and all of that.
Yeah, they
You
called
have-
it the Cocaine Basketball Association.
yeah.
And paychecks that didn't go through, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Paychecks. Did you experience any of that? All those crazy stories?
Well, luckily my paycheck went through.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hang around anyone who was associated with drugs. Never did drugs. I don't even drink alcohol or ever smoked. So that was something that I strayed from. One other thing about the CBA, I also played for it was called Lacrosse Catbirds, and they had Philip Saunders, who was the coach, and he coached for Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yes.
And I remember he said to me, Daren, because I averaged 22 points for him. 22 points, shot well from the field, like 55%. And they were like, okay, Daren, he's like, Daren, are you going to come back next year? I said, well, coach, CBA don't really pay anything. I said, I've been doing this for like 2 years. I said, I think I need to really go make some money, because I was being offered like 6-figure deals over in Europe. And I was like, so I think I'm going to do that. He was like, well, Daren, if you stay, I think you'll be one of the first guards to be called to the NBA. And it just, and then he becomes a coach. So you just never know. Just never know how that works, because he was a coach. He was a coach who believed in me. He was like, I think you can play in the NBA.
Right. Was George Karl your coach at one point as well?
Yeah, I played. That's when it was Vince Askew, Mario Ellie, and it was in the Albany. But I was with Rapid City, and then I went to Albany.
Okay, George Karl.
Yeah,
Flip
were you
Saunders
part
and
of the
George Karl.
team that won 50 games, I think? I know George Karl coached the CBA team that went 50-6 in the CBA. I'm not sure if that's the same team.
No, I wasn't on that team, but I was on. I think they did that the year before.
Ah, okay.
That was with Mario. It was. I know Vince Askew. What was Clinton's? He went to Cleveland State. He was the point guard. There was Danny Pearson, and then I kind of joined the team, and later on to help him in the playoffs.
Yeah. Vince Askew actually also played here.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah. Were you guys in the same conference, I think?
Well, we played on Albany together. There's another guy who I played on Rapid City. His name was Sylvester Gray. He played there.
He played for Añejo.
Played for Niejo, actually. Yeah.
And another guy was on Rapid City, the same team I was on, Joe Ward. He played in.
Oh, yeah.
Also played for Añejo.
Yeah,
Played for all you
Also played
boys,
for
huh?
Añejo.
so they were getting a lot of players from that team.
At the time, Añejo had a guy by the name of Sam Unera who usually just looks for the imports. I think he just went to one place. All right, let's just get them all from one place.
Yeah.
That was a good place to get them from.
Yeah.
Joe Ward was pretty good.
You did mention that you had a chance to try out for the Detroit Pistons. I mean, we all know that didn't work out, but what was it like with guys like Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and Dennis Rodman without the colored hair?
Oh my God! Let me tell you, it's like an experience of a lifetime. It's something that you always remember. You know, I just remember this, and I'm going to tell this Robin story. It was so funny. So we're walking to practice, and like you have a hotel. So here I am, this young college, freshly out of college pup, just trying to understand. Well, I've been out for a year or two, but just trying to understand the dynamics of the NBA. So we're walking to practice, and I remember John Sally was there, and I see, Dennis Rodman. You're like, oh, that's Dennis. And I said, well, Dennis is in there. But then his girl is like, at the time he was married, was knocking on the door, and she had a baby. And she's like, you just don't care. You just don't care. You're like, oh, my God, what's drama going on at the practice? And I kind of stopped. Dennis opened up the door, and I'm stopping. I'm like, well, what's going on? And John Sally just says, come on, let's just keep going. So those are the little things you see that you never – and this is when – I would say Dennis didn't have all the tattoos back then. He didn't have the tattoos. But I mean, it was just a pleasure because you hear about the bad boys and you got Isaiah Thomas, you got Joe Dumars, you got Vinnie Johnson, you had Mark Aguirre, you had Bill Laimbeer. Let me tell you one thing Bill Laimbeer said, and I was like, I don't know if he should say that, but if he hits me, I'm gonna fight him. I remember Bill said, "I'm just gonna tell all you little rookies here who are trying to make the team, if you try to dunk on me, I'm gonna knock you to the ground." I'm like,
he did that for real against the Celtics and the Bulls, right?
So did anyone dare dunk on him?
No, because he meant it. He meant it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
well, you're lucky by that time Mahorn wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Imagine with
right,
them,
but
you get sandwiched. You don't want to.
Right, but you're like, why would you hurt somebody trying to make the team? Why would you do that? You're already on the team.
Because he's Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah, because he's Bill Laimbeer. He's just trying to keep up with his reputation. That was
right. You just get out the way. Then you already got your contract.
I guess he wanted to test if you're good enough for the bad boys in terms of.
Yes, I was like, hey, listen, I gotta be careful because you had one of the best coaches ever. But I was like, I don't know.
Now, what was that like? What was that like working with Chuck Daly?
I really didn't have much interaction with Chuck Daly, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. He kind of stayed off on the side.
So who was the one, handling you guys, talking to you guys more? Brendan Malone?
Brendan Malone. Okay. It was Brendan Malone. He kind of stayed off to the side, and he would kind of like talk to Brendan and I guess get his opinion. But I honestly believe, and this is how I think fate is, when you're that close, sometimes it depends who is the coach or who's in leadership. I honestly think if Rudy Tomjanovich was the coach of the Houston Rockets, I would have been on that squad.
Why?
Because he believed in me. He asked me to come try out for the Houston Rockets. If you have someone of that stature, of that statue is willing to work with you a month before, personally, oh yeah, he believes in you.
Rudy T. Yeah, well, another classic guy as well.
Yeah.
Let's check out the next photo, Claude. Is that your
Oh,
friend?
wow.
You know that guy?
Yeah, that's Walker. Now Walker was on the Detroit Pistons.
Exactly.
He was on, you know, and
That's
the thing about Walker was, I don't know what happened because he was a great passer. I think Walker liked the nightlife just a little too much.
yeah, that's what I heard.
Well,
too.
he wouldn't have been the first PBA import to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and see, and that's the thing. Manila, the Philippines, really, you can get engulfed, and really, it's a great place to have fun. You know, so but you have to be careful, and you have to stay focused, and you have to remember the reason why you're there. The reason why you're there is to play basketball games and win and perform.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing that, that's great. As long as your team is winning. Walker, he was an excellent passer. He was big, and you would say, okay, how can this big body move like that? But he could really play. So when they let him go, I was kind of shocked, but then I was not as shocked because I was like, okay. He's just a nightlife a little too much.
They replaced him. He wasn't injured, right? They just replaced him.
No, he was not injured at all. Replaced him with Rob Rose.
Rob Rose. Yeah.
That's right, Rob Rose.
And actually, Rob Rose came in, and he actually did a good job because he just played his role. And the good thing is with Pure Foods, you know, this is just my personal opinion. The best player, Patrimonia, Alvin.
Yeah. You had a picture guarding him when you were with Añejo.
Yeah.
A picture earlier. Yeah.
He was a tough guy. He was very crafty. He was a good athlete, but not like a leaper. But he was very smart, high IQ, very efficient ball player. I loved having him on the team. I'm pretty sure anybody else would. This guy, when I saw him, not when I played against him, because when I was playing against him, I wanted to, beat his butt. But when I actually was with Pure Foods and I would watch him play on a daily basis, I could really get into his mind. I said, wow, I think this guy is going to be MVP of the league several times.
He was 4 times.
And he was.
Yeah, so and that doesn't surprise me. Now we also had a player, and his name was at Pure Foods, Nelson. I said Nelson. Now to me, Nelson was a great athlete. Nelson! Oh my God, this guy could jump. Was a great athlete, and I thought he was just raw ability, raw talent. And I said, man, if someone could really coach this guy, I think he'll do well. Now, I just think Alvin had a little more of the IQ. So I think Nelson would have shined depending on who was the coach. And because he had MVP ability as well.
Yes.
If he was in a great situation.
He almost got it when he transferred to another team, actually.
Yeah, he got traded.
Yeah. He got traded and he almost got it. But that was a great matchup, those two guys.
Yeah,
you had some good teammates on that Pure Foods team, Daren. You had some great players.
Jerry Cordillera was there too.
Jerry Cordillera, he was a point guard. And also, I love this game, maybe because I thought he had a little swagger to him. JoJo. For some reason,
JoJo Lastimosa,
He didn't have a little swagger. He was all swag.
He had a lot of swag.
He's all swag.
He still has it until he's a team manager now. He still walks by like he's playing and he's like bouncing,
he owns the place.
Yeah, that's JoJo.
That's still how he
but he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
always
that's the thing. He's approachable. He is a great guy. So
yeah. You're talking about earlier. Jerry was actually your center. Jerry Cordillera, big guy. Worked with Alvin a lot.
Yeah, this guy in the picture on the left. You're guarding him. You're blocking his shot. That's Jerry.
That's
your point guard was Dindo. Your point guard was Dindo.
Okay.
Pumarden. was your point guard.
I gotta get all the names correct.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, that's what the yeah, exactly, the time lapse that takes that away.
But I remember faces.
No, yeah. Faces Disco.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's not there anymore.
You were there too, yeah. But that's long gone. Yeah. Is there one more photo for this first half of the time capsule? Yeah, this is the one. So there you are, as usual, dunking.
Yeah.
Sky high.
How many
young
people
Daren
were watching
Queenan.
this? Where was this? Phil Sports or Araneta?
Yeah, this is Full Sports.
Phil Sports. Oh.
I still have some pictures from the Ultra 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah. You do you have them there, Daren, with you, or they beside you? Or you put them away already?
No, I have them. I have.
You're ready, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I wanted to show you, so this way you're actually talking to the authentic, real Daren Queenan.
Oh, you gotta sign that.
Now that was with Añejo.
Wow.
Hit your head.
Yep, that's Añejo.
Did you actually hit your head on the backboard?
Your head's about to hit the basket.
I came around the basket. I had to stuff it that way.
I'm sure that's happened at least once in your career, right, Daren? You've hit your head on the board once or twice.
Oh yeah, it happens, and you just keep going, And here's I got another one from like Pure Foods, but this was during, if you remember, they used to have a slam dunk contest.
Yeah. The Dunkin Donuts slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
Yes, Dunkin' Donuts. And if you see those shoes, you see Adidas, but I actually wore KPs.
KP,
KPs,
right? Yeah,
I remember the KPs, huh?
I had a contract with KP.
Nice.
Unfortunately, is KP still around? I don't think KP's around.
No, I don't think KP. I think they folded.
Yeah, well, then I can say this as they folded. Oh, they hurt my feet.
Yeah, they weren't the most comfortable pair, huh?
Right.
No, and that's JoJo.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. Then eventually became teammates, and you guys won a championship. That's crazy. So, but that's the first half of the time capsule that was brought to us by Champ's House of Chicken. Before we move on, we remind everyone we are part of the Globally Ballin Network. This is another show called Next Man Up with Diego and Jello. Dragons down, Archers win. Yeah, Archers have lost since then, though. So have the Maroons. But anyway, but lots of changes. This is a different league. This is the MPBL, I think. Watch and listen on Spotify. Send us some love. Rate us with a 5-star rating on Spotify, guys, if you like alternative basketball. And then you can become our monthly supporter for $4.99 or $250 pesos every month on Spotify. You can be recognized on our future episodes. Please support us. Globally Ballin Southeast Asia on Facebook. Follow their page, and you'll see tidbits of all the different shows on the Globally Ballin Network. Okay, we're entering the second half of the time capsule. This is brought to us by Nihao Bread Bakery Tagaytay. And all sorts of stuff. Good stuff. Beignets, classic cheesy donuts, overload. There's all the social media. There's the number you need to call for delivery. Nihao Bread Bakery Tagaytay. Okay, what's the next photo? As we move on, Daren Queenan's timeline. This is when you won the championship.
Yeah. Apologies, I could not find a clearer picture, so I can't really say where Daren here is in this picture.
Yeah.
But
You're there
this
somewhere.
Is the 1990 championship.
Somewhere, but I remember the feel though. It was, when you come back from 2-0, I mean 0-2. You come back from 0-2. You're practicing, and you're like, okay, you're just, you have to believe. It's because when you're down, you're like, the chances of you winning is an extremely low probability. But I think, and he passed away, this is when Coach DeLupin, actually, that's when he showed his worth. He showed his worth because he helped us believe as well. It wasn't just a team. He helped us believe, hey, you're down 0-2, but you can do it. You can beat them. If we would have done A, B, and C, you could have actually won the first two games. And also the players, the young players were very hungry. And I would hear the, what word am I looking for? Like the Grim Reaper coming from the past. Pure Food has never won a championship. Oh my God!
It's a young franchise, though. They've only been around 2 years when you won.
Well, that's what I heard.
But they went to the finals.
They were always in the finals, but they were always in the finals and they never won.
And that's what I heard. Is it going to happen again? That's all I kept hearing, during practice, and But this is when Coach DeLupin got us together, reassured us that this is still winnable. Down 0-2, take one game at a time. We won the first one, start having a little belief. All we had to do is get the second one. As soon as we got the second one, we were like, okay, we're going to win this. Now it's 2-2. It wasn't easy, but we knew we could win because we took over the momentum. There was a huge momentum shift. Anytime you're in the finals, momentum is huge. Now, instead of us doubting, we had the milkmen doubting, can they actually beat us?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that game 5 actually went down the wire.
It was down the wire, but the belief that now we could win, like, because I hit a big 3. If I can recall, JoJo hit a big 3. His 3 might have hit a big 3 before I hit the 3. It was either 1 or 2, but I think JoJo hit a big 3, if I can recall. And then I think I hit one, but it was the belief. See, when that momentum shifts, and you're like, oh, we came back. No, we can beat y'all. You're confident. It just comes, and you're like, okay, we can really win. Yeah, it was a close game. See, it was a close game, but it was a couple big threes.
Right, 99-98.
Game 5, and this turned out to be the last championship of Coach Baby DeLupin.
Yeah.
He was a quiet.
Yeah, here's the memory there.
Right.
Al Solis now delivered the killer 3-point.
Yeah, it was Al Solis.
Oh, with Solis and shit. I knew somebody shot. I know Solis.
Yeah.
I remember somebody hit a big 3. I just couldn't recall, but I knew someone did.
Yep. Then JoJo left the team. That's right. And the year after that, he transferred to Alaska. He actually went to the other side. Of all places, he went there. But you went up against Sean Chambers. Sean Chambers is a PBA. He's a PBA legend, like next to Bobby Parks. It's like Sean Chambers and then another guy, Norman Black. You probably met Norman Black too. But Sean Chambers. What do you remember about Sean Chambers?
Oh, Sean was a tough player. Sean, this is just my personal opinion. I gave Bobby a slight edge over Sean, but Sean was up there. Sean was about 6'2", very athletic. I was just as athletic, but I thought because I had the height, I could handle Sean a little better than Bobby, because Bobby was my height or slightly taller. So Bobby, for me personally, was a more of a challenge. But no, Sean understood, and that's what I mentioned. I learned a lot from Jaworski and Yeho my first time when I played against Bobby. Sean also had a motor, and he also learned, okay, like he wasn't like the big scorer or rebounder like Bobby, but he played excellent in moments that they needed him to. And that's what I was trying to learn, and I kind of started understanding once I had the conversation with Jaworski. Hey, Daren, you're doing well, you're getting these numbers, but you have to sometimes, somebody's hot, let them be hot, and then take over certain spots, which is going to give us the advantage.
Right. You're right about the motor of Sean.
But there was another guy on the Alaska team that was also working with Carlos Clark. And I remember very distinctly, Carlos Clark used to take free throws from like the left or the right side of the circle.
He wouldn't stand. He wouldn't take it from the middle. Right? You're right.
Yeah,
like
he would just
like
go
Nick
all
Van
the way
Exel
to the other side. Yeah, and he was a lefty too. So I'm sure you had to switch off on him if when you had to. But what was it like against Carlos Clark as well?
I tell you what, and Carlos and I actually became friends. We played in like the CBA together, lacrosse, and I played against him a lot of times in Belgium. The one thing about Carlos, I always got excited because of his resume. He was like played for the Celtics, got a ring, and I was like, oh my God, you know, if I can beat this guy from the Celtics, he got a ring. So for me, I always got up to play with Carlos. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. But he was a very smart player. Like, he would not overwhelm you with, if you're looking at just purely stats, Carlos wouldn't overwhelm you. Carlo was a game manager. He played good defense, game manager. He got other people involved. He just had a very high IQ. So I thought that him and Sean were a great combination together. Mm-hmm. And that's why they did so well when we played and they got there. Because, you know, I actually thought at the time, if you look at the overall talent, Michael Anderson and Louis Lloyd probably was the most talented out of the two. But when you look at Sean and Carlos, that combination worked because for some reason it just worked because I just think Carlos had a high IQ and Sean had a great motor.
Right. If Walker Russell had stayed and Rob Rose never came
that was
along,
my next question.
Are you still champions? Would it have been easier? Would it have been easier? Would it have been harder?
No, I think we're still champions. Mm-hmm. I see. We could have done better with Walker. The problem with Walker was it wasn't his talent. It wasn't his ability. Like I said, it was the nightlife, and it was you have to be disciplined. You have to follow the team structure. Coach Lupin had certain rules. I believe it at that. He had certain rules, and if you don't abide by them, you know, you risk being replaced. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't his talent, though. He never got released because of his talent. It was off the court.
He was awesome. No, he was an awesome player. I mean, he was.
He was a great player. I would tell you somebody else who I met. Never played against him, but I played in the Philippines. And I heard stories about him. And I'm like, oh my God, is that really true? The Black Superman, Billy Ray Bates.
Billy Ray Bates. I knew it. I knew you were going to say his name. I was already saying in my mind, Billy Ray Bates. It had to be. Yeah. He's a.
What is your Billy Ray Bates story?
Well, it wasn't a story. This is how I met him, and we just started talking. And he was telling me how he played in the Philippines. I said, oh yeah, I played there too. He played for the Portland. He played in the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Right.
So
28 points a game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I won the Cba Dunk Contest. So they had a dunk contest. It was Jerome Kersey, he passed, and Clyde Drexler. So I met Clyde Drexler, and it was Billy Ray, and they invited me over, and then that's how I kind of met him. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. If you guys want to pay me just to dunk, that's fine. I can do that.
Why not? Right?
So he was, and I watched some of his films because like they have some of his films on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I was watching some of his film, and then I saw one time he came on a game show, and it like had a sad story because like I think he got incarcerated a little bit.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And just a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm saying, wow, it's just amazing how some guys, you have this great opportunity, you have this great life, and you should take advantage of it, and you should excel from it, you know.
Yes.
And some people just, I don't know, maybe they just go down the wrong road.
Yeah.
You know, so it's.
Well, he did win a couple of championships when he was here as well.
Oh, I'm pretty
looking. We've been looking for him though, but you know it's hard to find him. And one of the other imports we've had said, you know, he heard that Billy's not in a good place or whatever. But you know, we really don't know. We just wished him the best.
Right.
He was a legend. He was a legend over here, but yeah, it's hard to find him. You never know where he is. But yeah, he did get involved in some stuff later on, and
he actually came back here about probably a decade
ago
to be an assistant coach for one of the regional teams.
No, he came home to get his Hall of Fame, PBA Hall of Fame plaque.
Okay,
he didn't leave.
He didn't leave till they had to make him leave. They had to actually put him on a plane. They put him on a plane and said, "Hey, you need to go because you've worn out your welcome already." He was
I
an
saw
assistant
some
coach.
game
Didn't show up
show.
at practice. Yeah, he didn't show up at practice. He was found somewhere in some town in south.
He was sleeping in the parking lot. He was so drunk. They found him in the parking lot. He passed out.
Anyway, but that's a different story altogether. What's the next photo we have, Claudes? Let's keep on moving in the career. So eventually you did make the jump from the U.S. leagues. Oh, you did play in the Philippines, but you played USBL, all these different Premier Basketball League, the World Basketball League, CBA, of course, and then now you said you wanted the big bucks, so you went to Europe, and then you jumped around. You did stay in Belgium for a long time. You are a Belgian citizen, right? You're naturalized Belgian citizen. But so tell us about that experience. I mean, of course, the money was better, but how was the basketball? And how was your experience over there?
I mean, the basketball was. Anytime I'm playing basketball, I'm happy, and the contract was 6 figures, so you're even more happy, So you're not upset at all. So that was one of the dilemmas. It's like, okay, I'm giving up these 6-figure contracts, and then I'm playing in the CBA, trying out for the NBA, which is no guarantee. Whereas I know if I go over Europe, I can get a 6-figure contract guarantee, and I can play pretty well. So this is a place, it's very close to my heart. It's called Alst. I played there for many years. They want me to come back. I'm kind of like in their Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I did extremely well there. I was top scorer. Like I think I averaged like 29 points one time. 29 points. And my 3-point shooting, because I was always very good, exceptional 2-point shooter. Like in my professional career, once I got serious, I was shooting over 50%, 55. And there's a couple years I even shot over 40% from the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
you improved. You have to improve your game, right?
Yeah, you have to. Well, you have to improve, because now you got guys like you see that number 12 and number 11. Number 12 is like 6'10", number 11 6'11". So you can't just always go to the hole, Oh, you see number 15. You see number 15 on the left?
On the left side. Yeah.
I'm gonna. You're not gonna know who. I'm gonna tell you whose father that is. So, his name is Boro Vucevic.
Okay.
Nikola?
Boro Vucevic.
That's Nicola's dad?
That's Nicola's dad.
Wow.
Whoa. Imagine that. And this is in Belgium. This is the Belgian league, right?
Yes. I'm gonna give you a funny story about Nicholas. So, believe it or not, I had my own radio program over in Belgium for about 3 years. So
that's amazing.
Yes, I was introducing them to like R&B music. They let me talk about anything, cooking, whatever is on my mind, And sometimes I would bring players from other teams and I would interview. So Boro, I was trying to get Boro to interview, but Boro's English wasn't good at all. So I would call him, and I was like, "Is Boro there?" And all the time, Nicholas would answer the phone, and you could hear him talking to his dad, and he'll come back, "Boro not here."
He didn't want to talk to you. But did you learn? Did you learn the local language when you were there for many years?
That should be French, right?
Well, no. This is French. Yeah, they have a French side, but this is actually called. It's what is it called? It's some type of Dutch, Flemish. It's called Flemish. Now, here's the problem for me. It's hard to learn a language because, like, I stayed there, I learned it, I can speak it a little bit, where I can get by. I can look at a menu and order. But when you go to so many different countries, you start mixing them up. You're like, oh yeah, that again.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. Sid.
You mentioned you eventually became a naturalized citizen of Belgium. But did you ever play for Belgium on an international level?
No. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. I didn't want to. I mean,
Okay.
that was their. They had to shine. That was theirs. I wasn't there to take it away from.
I'll ask the obvious question. Looking at this photo, guys, and you probably thought about it too. How was it for you? I mean, you're the only African American guy in the entire photo. I'm sure there's nobody. Are there Americans on that team? They don't look American at all. They're all European, probably.
Number 12, believe it or not, is American, and number 5 was American because number 12 got hurt, and we brought in number 5. But here's the thing. Well, my team for this year, I was the only African American, but normally they always would have another one. But it was no problem. It was no problem at all. All the guys, like anytime you play basketball, they really don't look at color. You have one common goal, and I think sports is really the best unity.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer. Yeah.
It's the great equalizer, and believe it or not, you can get to a comfort level when you can start asking questions, like, hey, Daren, do you really eat chicken? And I'm like, your chicken's pretty good. Things of that nature, so because you get to know each other. And so I asked me questions like number, you see number 9, he asked me this question and I had to tell him, no, that's not true. He was like, Daren, you jump so high. He said, we heard the reason why you jump high because you have an extra tendon or ligament. I was like, that's like, no, I know somebody might have told you, but that's not true.
Extra tendon.
You can't believe everything you read, huh?
Yeah, at least you cleared that up, right? I'm
but he's great.
Dying to ask that.
He's a great kid. He's older now, but he was a great kid at the time, and you just have those open conversations.
Yeah. Right.
Did you get anyone to get on your soul music?
Here's the funny thing. I don't know if they love my music or if they were just being nice to me, but they tried to listen. And the fans there is, just like the fans at the time I played, it was called Ultra. Great.
Ultra, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's great. Anytime you have someone who loves the game of basketball, appreciate it, as long as you go there, you play hard, they're going to appreciate it. Now I got a question. Who had the tougher crowd? Tougher? Okay, elaborate on tougher. Which tougher?
I guess who gave you a hard time? I guess the opposing fans. It's the guys who they boo you.
Yeah. I mean, who are the more passionate fans?
Or they demand so much from you.
Yeah, who are the more passionate fans, at least in the stands? Was it in the PBA? Was it in the EuroLeague?
I think anywhere you go, they can be very demanding if you don't play up to par. Like I said, some players go there, but they don't realize the reason why you're there. The reason why you're there is to help elevate your team. And they can recognize if someone's given 100% or if someone's been out all night and looks tired on the court. And that's an impression I never wanted to give, and I never gave. Like today's basketball players, in my opinion, they're a little soft. When we were playing, you played. You had to really be seriously injured not to be on the floor.
Right.
You wrap those ankles up because you had a goal. You wanted to be there for your teammates. Now, if they have a little injury, like I might be out. Yeah. I might be out 2 weeks. No, but tougher. As long as you're winning, like I was on a lot of winning teams here. I was with the Philippines, 2 teams, and I won 1 championship, 50%. That's a great
batting average.
It is.
I'm not going to complain. I don't think any of them were tough. I don't think I was on any team that was just simply terrible that did not give 100%. As long as you're giving 100%, I think teams will understand. Okay, well maybe we don't have it this year. The guys are trying. Now they'll look at management. What can management do to bring in better players to improve the team? But if you're going out there and you're not giving your all, and they're looking at it, and it's the eye test, it's like, oh, these guys are just hustling, they're not trying. Yeah, then they could be tough on you, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you played for Añejo in '89, and then you played for Pure Foods in 1990. So it's like Añejo's the most popular team in the Philippines. So you go from hero to villain in their eyes. Did you feel that? Did the crowd make you feel that like you were a traitor to Ginebra or to Añejo or something like that?
Well, I know I didn't feel it. I think, like I said earlier, I wish Añejo would have brought me back. So the problem was, and it was me. I was a young kid, and it was my first time, so I didn't think they were patient with me. Now looking back, whereas I'm learning. Like I said, you have Bobby Parks. He's been there. He understands how it should be played. Like you could see that I had the skill set. Like if you watch me with Añejo, you could say, "Oh, this guy got the skill set," but it was that young mind, 21, trying to absorb things, trying to say, "Okay, what can I do to be successful in this league?" Now, I did learn a lot, and like I said, it was actually from Jaworski that Baby DeLupin actually benefited from. So I wasn't upset. I was like, okay, I want to prove that I am a good player. That I went to Añejo, I wasn't able to get the job done, but I'm going to prove to you that if you'd have just been patient, you would have had success. And I think I was able to show that. But it's very hard when you have a 21-year-old. You just don't know how, if he's really a student of the game, is he really trying to learn the game? And I was, and I learned and I improved from it, and you could see the results with Pure Foods.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to the next photo. Okay, this is a Lehigh Valley Live photo, but this is you, and this is still in Europe. I'm if I'm not mistaken, right? This is a Europe uniform.
That's in Germany. Now, I actually made a German all-star team here. And this is, believe it or not, I was like 33. I think I averaged like 21 points, shot 55% from the 2, and shot 42% from the 3. Like I said, I became a very deadly, I was a deadly mid-range shooter. I really became a deadly mid-range shooter. But I became a decent three-point shooter where you couldn't just leave me there. Now, it wasn't my forte. I didn't shoot up a lot of threes. But if you backed off me, I could knock it down.
Yeah, because you didn't. Yeah, you're right. Early in your career, you didn't have so much of that. Right? You were more like a perimeter inside operator type of guy. Probably because you were playing center also, earlier in your career. But then you had to move out slowly and build that 3-point shot. And But here at 33, were you coming to? Could you see the end of the line somewhere here at this age, 33?
Well, and here's the funny thing. My wife saw it, but I didn't. When you're a player, when you're a player, you're competitive. You're thinking, no, I still can play. I still get out. I can still, outplay you. You're thinking that, but then. Yeah, the coaches help you realize it too. You don't want to, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not playing as much. Oh man. And then you say, okay, well, I'm 35. I guess it's time to quit.
Did any other PBA team invite you back after you won a Pure Food championship with Pure Foods?
No, and I was surprised. Now, but here's the funny thing. No, let me be clear. They might have. Because normally I had an agent, and the problem is your agent's sometimes he's not going to tell you all the teams who are asking you to come back if the salary difference is not close.
Yeah.
Then they're going to well, he's already playing here, he's already making this, but I really appreciate it. So they could have. I just once I hit Europe and they saw how I was playing, like I said, I was making pretty good change.
But would you
Pretty good
have
change,
entertained an offer if, for example, Pure Foods called you again? And,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
can you come back for one more conference? Or?
Back then I would have, yeah, because I felt I was young, I was in good shape, but sometimes your agent was like, well, you don't want to wear you down, so they know you'll go do it, so they might not tell you. But I would have came back.
Yeah, it's
When-
a lot of
when
fans
you-
are also wondering whatever
Yeah.
happened to you.
No, but the fact that you came back, so many imports are one and done. They come here, they never come back. Even if they have average 50 points, they're never invited back. To be invited back, I guess it speaks a lot about your character and your talent. But and then two of the best franchises too for you. But I'm looking at this photo and I'm asking myself, were there any top-notch, top-caliber guys that you got to play against? I mean, from the time that you were in the NCAA, when you were in Europe, oh, it's you. I played against you in college, or in the CBA, and then now you're reunited or fighting against each other in Europe.
Well, there was Carlos Clark. I don't know if you remember, there was a Bill Varner. He played for Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very good player. Ronnie Blake played for St. Joe's. He played in Belgium. And here's the funny thing. I had a guy who came over from University of North Carolina. He was on my team, and his name was what was his name? I forget his name. He was about Brian Reese. He was about 6'6", very athletic. And they ran some plays. I think in North Carolina, you're going to do well. So they ran some plays for him, and he was coming off some screens, and he was shooting air balls. And I said to myself, oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it because even though he's athletic, in Europe, they're going to pack the paint and put them big 6'10", 6'11" guys in that paint and force you to shoot. So he didn't make it. Who else was there were some good players. I played with, and he played in the NBA a little bit. Maceo, what was Maceo's last name?
Baston.
He played for Michigan. He played for the
Maceo Baston.
Yeah.
Baston.
And he played for the I think the Pacers. I tell you, a legend I played for, and he passed away when I was at Rapid City. Pearl Washington, remember Pearl Washington for Syracuse? Yeah, he passed away. And here's the funny: he had always you wouldn't think that body could move like that. Like he wasn't like a cut.
Yeah.
Body like you're like, oh, that's an athletic body. I'm gonna have to really play hard. No, he would, roly poly body.
Yeah. Kind of like Baron Davis, right? He
like, how this guy get by me?
Yeah.
I mean, but there were good players, but I'm pretty sure if I can recall, they were like a lot of good collegiate players, but no one like Pete Chilcutt. He was at North Carolina. I played against him. I dropped 42 on his team in Rome.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think Chilcutt won a ring, right? With the Rockets.
With the Rockets.
One of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was on
Backup
both,
center.
but I know he was at least in one of them.
Yeah, it was
94, 95.
like Pete. But and I met, the guy from Lehigh. He's very good. And I met him, McCollum.
CJ McCollum.
CJ, and I remember when he came on the scene, and I was like, okay, this guy might actually be a very good player. The only question I had with him at the time, because I was like, he got some good skill set. He can handle the ball. He can shoot. I said, he's just a little skinny right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew if he would just get some weight, I said he might actually make an all-star. He's close.
Yeah.
NBA All-Star. He's close. And
Yeah.
I just hope he makes it because I met him. He's a very, very quiet guy though, but very, very nice.
I had the chance to meet him as well. I met him in 2013 at the draft, Darren. I was able to meet
good.
CJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you met him, he's probably had like 1 or 2 words for you. Or did he actually talk?
No, in fact, the reporters were coaxing him to speak a little more. He's one of those more quiet guys in the room. There were other guys. There were more colorful guys in the room. Let's put it that way. Guys like Sid Noel and those guys. But,
yeah, he's kind of quiet.
And the big guy, the New Zealand guy. What's his name?
Steven
New Zealand.
Adams.
Steven Adams was commanding attention and all that in the
University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. The big fella. Well, how about this photo? I mean, this is after. Were you still playing, or is this post basketball? This photo that we found.
You know what? I can't. It's probably post because Mike's looking a little rough there. So I don't know if he got gray hair or not. But believe it or not, I think Mike could have made the NBA. He hurt his knee.
Mm-hmm.
He hurt his knee, and I think his build was like a little slim. If I had his shooting and his handles in my body, I'd have definitely made the NBA. This guy, for his build, he was a tough player, a real tough player. He had like 20 against Georgetown. He had 27 against Temple. They underestimated him because of his slight build, but I mean, fantastic shooter.
Oh, the guy in the blue shirt. That's Mike Polaha.
Oh yeah, my teammate. He shot.
So was this taken at Lehigh? This photo?
This was taken at Lehigh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was I don't know if it's a football game or what, but I think I remember the caption something about 2 alumni coming back and watching a football game at Lehigh, and you were interviewed, I think, by the local press.
Yeah, and Fran was there as well. Fran McCaffrey and a couple other of my teammates. Yeah, that's correct. We were watching a football game. Anytime you go back, boom. Let's talk to you a little bit.
I'm wondering. You said you had a radio show in Belgium. I'm wondering if you ever tried to do any broadcast work for basketball.
Sometimes it's getting your foot in the door. Oh, and when I was with Germany, like now you mentioned people. You remember the Barry brothers? There was the Barry brother that I played with in Germany. He played at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
That Drew?
Yeah, that was John.
Yes,
right.
John.
Well, John, I think it was Drew.
No.
John played for
Drew. Okay.
Yeah, Drew.
Okay.
And now he actually, I think, was doing some commentating, but he has connections. He has his dad. He has his brother was an all-star. So you got connections. So sometimes you got a lot of people trying to get in to broadcasting. So sometimes it could be tough. Now, if I went back to Lehigh, I could definitely do it.
No, because you got the broadcast demeanor. I mean, the three of us are broadcasters also, but you do have, speaking on a radio show in another country. Here's
a question in the 2020 setting. Have you considered putting up a podcast?
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, I haven't. Let me tell you where my forte lies. Okay, I'm all into. I work for E-Trade Morgan Stanley. Okay, so I'm actually what they call a certified financial planner. So what I learned over time was the value of the dollar. And what I've learned, a lot of athletes don't properly save their money because they trust their agent. The agent should be used just for negotiations. So I remember I was on a bus, okay? I had my laptop, I'm paying my bills. And one of my teammates, he comes back to me and he goes, "Daren, what are you doing?" I say, "I'm paying my bills." He goes, "Why are you paying your bills? Why aren't your agent doing it?" I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. How much are you paying your agent to pay your bills?" It was about 4%. I said, 4%? I said, okay. Now, this guy was making pretty good money. Let's say he's making $500,000. So I said, well, you do 4% off of $500,000. That's $20,000 you're paying them a year. Okay. So I said, okay, well, how long you been paying them? So it's probably about 4 years. I said, that's $80,000. So I said, okay, well, let's take the present value. We're going to do 80,000. I said, let's say you pay another 20,000 for the next 4 or 5 years. And then I put, okay, let's say if you have this in the S&P 500, which has historical return, let's say about 8%. Then you retire at 65. I said, you just gave him about $800,000.
Wow.
So
doesn't look
You're a
big
math
when
guy.
he's doing it, right?
You're a math guy. You're good at math.
yes. Well, I'm good at understanding the value of a dollar.
Yeah,
You know, because you'll have, like, for example, when you hear about Antonio Walker, guy makes $100 million. All right,
Antoine Walker.
Anton Walker.
Mhm.
You make $100 million, and you find out your agent puts you in contact with some guy who's a slumlord. Well, your agent's probably getting something off the top, and so it's the guy he's doing business with.
Right.
No, if that guy, you should have someone who has expertise in that area. Number one, I would never suggest you to be a slumlord. Why you need to be a slumlord? You already got $100,000. Why are you investing in these type of properties? You need, if you're going to invest in property, get a property that's going to appreciate in value.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, but
Do you do this kind of work for NBA players and former NBA players? Because these are the guys. A lot of these guys need you.
No,
Need someone to tell them.
I wish I could. It's about getting your foot in the door. That's the toughest thing. It's if you get your foot in the door. Like I heard some NBA players trying to reach out and help in that space, which is a good thing. But here's the problem: a lot of these agents, it's more of a mental game. What they tell the players, because I kind of went through it.
Mm-hmm.
You focus on the basketball. Let me focus on everything else.
Yeah.
You focus on the basketball, I can get you a bigger contract. So you fall into the mentality of, okay, yeah, let me concentrate on basketball, and he'll handle everything else. And then you don't have your finances.
Yeah.
Right. And pretty soon it's all gone. Yeah.
Pretty soon you just gave away $1 million, right?
Right.
Yeah, you could just give.
But that's great if you would be able to help. Maybe if someone comes up to you, you would, right? But
if they came to me, I definitely would help.
Yeah.
Do we still have some photos? What's left? Oh well, there you go. Yeah. There you go, Daren.
Oh yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I noticed. Daren, I just noticed when you were playing in the Philippines, you were wearing Mike's number. Was that on purpose, or was the number 12 just taken?
And you doubled it.
I don't know. It might have been subconscious. You know, it might have been giving some love to my former teammate.
But why did you choose the 24 when you were playing in the Philippines on both teams?
On both teams.
Yeah.
Well, because the number brought good luck. He was a great player. I was like, okay, well, I can't go wrong. But you know, here's the thing, and which I have learned through, and anybody watching playing basketball, here's one thing that I've learned: leadership matters. And I always try to lead by example, and I always try to be positive, even when facing adversity. And number 24, you know, he was the same. He came off had a massive knee injury, but was always positive. Always gave his 100%, really appreciate the game, because he sat out for a year. Mike. And I just looked at him like, you know what? You never know. So I'm gonna lead by example, and I'm gonna try to be a great leader no matter where I go.
So you brought his number with you to imbibe him.
Well, I wore his number to show appreciation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
And you guys are still in touch. You guys are still tight. I mean, still today.
Oh yeah. We'll call each other, and he's making some good coin, because He graduated from Lehigh.
Yeah.
He's not hurting.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you get to play basketball, live your dream. I mean, I know you wanted to go to the NBA, but you didn't make it there. But you did go all over the world, and basketball has been great to you. And yet, even after basketball, you're pretty successful. You're doing really fine.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody can say that, right?
Right.
That's correct. But I love basketball, but what's better than basketball? Meeting people. It really is. See, I love to meet people who know me. They'll probably say, yeah, if you ever talk to Daren, he's very approachable. He's friendly, so, and I never saw myself as a star, but I just never, I always saw myself, okay, I'm a guy who happens to play basketball. If these people are willing to pay, I owe it to them to give 100%.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that applies to everything in life too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would think.
You would hope. No?
Yeah, you would hope. You would hope.
Yeah. But you talked about meeting people. Well, we're so glad to have met you, Daren. And for you to be sharing your story with us. And, 'cause as I said, it all started back in '87 for me. Just a photo of you coming in, swooping in for a dunk, and then Lehigh, it said Daren Queenan. And then now here we are, we're chatting, and then you're telling us all about your story in life, and it's a great one. It's a nice one. And then,
well, I appreciate it, and it's a pleasure meeting you, gentlemen, as well.
Thanks for the story. So we're gonna enter now the last portion. Yeah, we're gonna enter the last portion of our show. It's called the Twilight Zone. That means we're about to end, but before we go, we have our segments on the Twilight Zone. And the first segment of the Twilight Zone is called X's or O's, Daren. It's brought to us by Hidalban Farms. You can buy some adlai, some flour, some coffee over there, Lazada, Shopee at the hidalbanstore.com. So check out their products. We enter X's or O's. I'm going to give you some choices, Daren. Just tell me what your choice is. You don't have to explain.
Okay.
I'll just rattle off a list, and you tell me who you choose, okay? Or what you choose. Okay, let's go. Number 1, Baby Dalupan or Sonny Jaworski.
Oh, God.
I got you on the first
right off the bat, Charlie, right.
Well, you can't have one without the other. But if I had to take it, because of Baby Dalupan, I won the championship. But Jaworski he helped Dalupan benefit from it. But I would give it to Baby Dalupan.
Baby Dalupan, okay, there you go. Añejo or Pure Foods?
We won the championship.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Nelson or Alvin?
Ooh, tough one, but I'm taking Alvin.
Alvin, okay. He's the 4-time MVP anyway. How about the Loizaga brothers, Joey or Chito?
Joey,
okay. Your team manager with Añejo, Bear Navarro, or your team manager with Pure Foods, Ding Panganiban?
oh my goodness. I'm going to give it to Añejo this time.
Añejo, okay. Bear Navarro.
Okay.
Offense or defense?
I'm more of a. They say, Daren, sometimes you need to play better defense, but I'm more of an offensive guy.
Yeah. You are. Based on all your numbers everywhere you went, yeah. He averaged 47 points a game here in the PBA, by the way. Okay. Yeah. You like it run and gun or slow it down?
Oh, my goodness. When we used to play Princeton, remember Pete Carril?
Mm-hmm.
And that slow offense. I'm a run and gun guy, and my teammates, they knew it. And they would say, now, Daren, we're playing Princeton. Do not go for any fades. Be patient, because as soon as you go for it, they're going to backdoor you.
So you're run and gun. You're a run and gun guy.
Yeah,
that's what I was guessing.
I'm a run and gun.
Sean Chambers, Bobby Parks.
I like, once again, it's very close, but Bobby Parks.
Bobby Parks, okay. I'm sure Sean would appreciate that as well. Walker Russell or Rob Rose?
Oh my goodness! Now you got me on my teammates. That's tough. Oh, you guys are really being tough. I always go with the guy I won the championship with, So I'm going to go with Rob, and I think we could have still won the championship with Walker.
Right. Lakers or Celtics?
Uh-oh.
Well, that's not.
Tread carefully.
No, I'm gonna tell you that's not a fair question. The fair question is because I'm a Sixers fan.
Yeah, right.
And Bird used to torch us. So, and I think Bird should have more GOAT considerations. But
man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But because it's the Celtics, I'm going with the Lakers because I'm a Sixer.
Thank you there. I'm a Laker fan. Okay.
Yeah, but thank you for saying nice words about Larry Bird, though.
yeah. He's one of the best. Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, or someone else?
And that seems to be a huge debate currently.
Right.
It really depends on what you're looking for. Let me tell you, if it's one game, you're going to take Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to get to the playoffs, you're going to take LeBron. And the reason why I'm saying you're going to take LeBron is because he's interchangeable with so many different positions. Okay? Kobe, I like Kobe, but he's kind of like a knockoff of Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jordan is
better.
But let me tell you this, and here's what people don't understand. If you did not know where a shot was coming from, let's say underneath the basket, the mid-range or three, I'm going to ask you guys a question because I know who I would take.
Mm-hmm.
What one player would you take for the last shot and you didn't know where the shot was coming from?
Wow.
Robert Horry. I'll take Robert Horry.
That's actually a good answer.
Me?
Too.
Honestly, Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird too.
Yeah.
Bird.
I'm a Celtics fan, but I'm gonna have to go to the automatic bucket in all of basketball to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
But remember, you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know if you need a three, a mid-range, or a basket underneath. It's Bird.
It is Bird. Yeah.
It's Bird.
Maybe Bird. No, the only reason I said Horry is because of that. Because he was just standing there and the ball was batted out to him and then he hits that, that top of the key.
They call him Big Bucket Horry. But if you didn't know where the ball was, you had to shoot. For me, it's Bird, no question, over Jordan. Because Jordan,
I won't debate that.
Over LeBron, over anybody else. If I didn't know where that shot was coming from, and you said, Darren, who you gonna pick? I'm like, I'm gonna take the blind guy, right?
Yeah. It makes sense.
Okay. No. Next one. Next one. Hakeem or Shaq?
Ooh.
Is it all depending on where the shot's coming from?
Skill wise, it's going to be Hakeem. But over a 7-game series, Shaq will wear anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just too big, too bulky, too strong.
I guess it depends on what version of Shaq. Because when they went up against in the finals, that was Hakeem all the way, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking about Lakers Shaq with Kobe.
Shaq.
When he was MVP, he was
a beast.
That's right. Okay, next is Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Well, I go with the champion. I mean, the most unstoppable shot is, of course, Kareem. But if you're going to look at championships, defensive prowess, you got to look at Bill Russell.
Right. Yeah, they're different. Okay, how about this? Slam dunk contest. Dominique or Jordan?
Oh, my God. You can't lose choosing either one.
Yeah.
You can't lose.
But if you were the judge in 1988 in Chicago, who would you have voted for?
That's Jordan. Come on.
Mr. Queenan.
Well,
you remind me of one of them and not the other.
If it's in Chicago, Jordan's going to get some home cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But Dominique was my style of dunker. Off two.
Exactly. That's you, right?
That's
you were
true.
Dominique.
I would go with Dominique.
All right,
Yeah.
I got you there. Okay. Engineers or Mountain Hawks?
You know, we got teased a little bit with the engineers, so I'll go with the Mountain Hawks.
Okay. Okay, Mountain. Okay, and then this one, Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Okay, last, Al Pacino or Denzel Washington?
Denzel got the swag. I'm going with Denzel.
Yeah, okay, I knew it. I had a feeling that they're those two. The
You can't
Italian
do
boys.
Denzel's walk, though.
Well, that's X's or O's for episode 150. The next segment now will go to Noel Zarate.
All right, this is of course brought to us by Serioso Chili Garlic, a delicious, aromatic, and I gotta read this: crispy chili garlic bits in pure coconut oil, made with made with natural, locally sourced ingredients. My eyes are getting bad. No preservatives, no artificial flavorings, and no salt. Ito ang chili garlics na seryosong manghang at kaya kang ipaglaban di gaya ng ex mo. All right, I have a very, very simple question for you, and that's just amazing stuff right there. You were 21 or 22 when you entered the PBA, and I'm sure you wanted to do a lot of stuff differently. If your 30-year-old self could just tell your 21-year-old self something, so what would your 30-year-old self tell your 21-year-old something on your first professional contract?
Well, on my first, be a little more relaxed. Like your first contract, you know, for me, I was too tense, and sometimes I put a little too much pressure on myself. That's why you didn't see me out. I was like, okay, I got to get it done. I gotta impress everybody. I got to make sure our team wins the championship. And sometimes that has an adverse effect because you're not playing relaxed, you know, whereas now, once you get a little older, you start saying, you know what, you worked hard in practice, relax, rely on your skill set, rely on your coaching, rely on your teammates. And so that's what I would say to myself, and learn how when it's important to take over certain points of the game that's going to give you a higher probability to have a positive outcome and get that W.
I just have a follow-up to that. How does Daren Queenan relax?
You know, I have two lovely daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I have a wife, and talking on shows like this is very relaxing.
That's great to know. Except during X's or O's, you got a bit stressed, I think.
Well, yeah, you stressed me
Sorry
out.
about that.
I got stressed there. That's correct.
Okay.
Well, thank you. That was my segment. Go ahead, Sid.
Okay, Daren, final segment is brought to you, first of all, by Hotbox Smoked Meats, home-cooked backyard grill. Quality USDA meat, long and slow-cooked, tender smoked Angus beef belly. Just follow their social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram. I've already sampled this. Charlie also. It's very, very good.
Good stuff.
Yep, it's very, very good.
You come over, Darren, we'll get you some.
Yeah.
My question for you, Daren, you know, if you could have dinner with any basketball player, past or present, living or dead, or a foreigner or American, who would it be and why?
You know, it still would be Dr. J.
Yeah, that's the one that got away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that got away. And then I would ask him and say, hey, you know, I met you in the airport. Why didn't you allow me to talk to you? But, you know.
Yeah, what would you talk about, though?
You know, I would just talk about anything in general. I would kind of like frame it like you guys structure it. Hey, tell me about your career. Tell me something very interesting. Tell me something that nobody else would know. Mm-hmm. What do you do to relax? You know, how is your family life? You know, what gravitated you towards basketball?
Yeah, that would be great for sure.
And he's Dr. J.
He's always been a gracious fellow and a great interview.
Yeah.
So.
And here's what else I would ask him. I said, why didn't you ever have any desires to coach? Or did you coach somewhere and I just didn't know about it?
That's actually a good question.
Yeah, he was just on the management, right? With the Magic for a while. And,
right. Yeah. He was there at Magic for a while, but he never really coached.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I wonder if he
Yeah.
was ever invited.
Would love
You
to
know?
pick his brain.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to pick his brains. Now he's always in the dunk contest doing this.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
well, that's my
Okay, and
segment.
this is it.
Brought to you by Hotbox. So, Charlie, take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's all. So just to close the show, we have our last segment called Hello Porky. This is our greetings portion, Darren. You know, you've been in basketball for a long time. So many experiences. You've met so many people, which is what you said earlier.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone you'd like to thank, to acknowledge, or just say hi to, you can do it right now.
Well, you know, and here's the thing: when I have this type of opportunity, you know, you got to really think, and it's so many people who influence your life, help you to excel in a game that I love, basketball. I would just be here all day. So I just want to thank everyone who has ever come into my life, give me the opportunity to talk to them. If you had the opportunity to watch me, I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you. And that starts from being born and raised in Norristown, Lehigh, the CBA, the Philippines, and all the various countries. Also, my Belgium friends, even my co-workers. I just want to say thank you for just giving me the opportunity to meet you and help influence my life. So no one in particular, because there's just too many names, and I don't want to leave anyone out.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, so that was Hello Porky, and that brings us to the close of our show, Darren.
Yeah,
thank you so
I think
much.
Jay has a message for us also. Jay Mercado, who's one of the instrumental people bringing Darren on the show.
Yeah,
Happy
Jay.
birthday, Darren! Happy birthday.
Well, it's the
What's
19th.
gonna get there? Yeah.
It's
yeah,
the
sorry.
Yeah. Darren's turning a year older in a few days.
Yes.
So
What,
it's an
56?
advance happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing your story. Well, because like I told you yesterday when we talked for a bit, this is let's consider this an advanced birthday celebration because everybody's
There
here
you
with
go.
you. They're listening to your story. So happy birthday, Mr. Queenan. There
There
you
you
are
go.
with a trophy. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. It's amazing that you have those.
Yeah,
and they were readily accessible. I mean, I don't know how long
Yeah.
it took you to find them under the big pile of photos.
No,
that
they
you
were-
have.
Well,
they were-
no, they're mounted. They're mounted. So
Yeah, they were accessible for sure.
Okay. So you took them
Great.
off a wall just to share it with us. I mean, I'm sure the PBA fans will remember that gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time you spent in the Philippines actually meant a lot to you.
Yes, it did. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. For winning this, it was 25,000 pesos.
Mhm.
Right.
That was the award, yeah, and a trophy.
And I
Do
remember.
you still have the trophy?
I think that's
Did you
about
take it home?
$1,000 at the time.
The problem with the trophy over time, it's
Fell apart.
just not in the best shape. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
You're
that happens.
talking-
That happens.
You're talking 30 years.
Yeah. That's right. So well, advanced happy birthday from the
Yeah.
an eternity of basketball
Hey,
family.
Darren, yeah, maybe you could
and all
just
our
one
fans.
day if you drop by in the Philippines, look us up, and then we'll reminisce live, I guess.
Yes. Sid
Yes.
will take you around, and he'll take care of everything for you.
If I ever do, because I got Jay in my phone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he's your
Just
point
look
man.
at
we're just a
Phone
message
call.
away, okay? Because
Yeah.
Jay's with us. He's one of our guys as well. We just like to do it 3 at a time. Okay, so that's Daren Queenan for episode 150. Before we go, we'd like to thank, of course, San Miguel Corporation for powering our show. Thank all our sub-segment sponsors. You see them on your screens right now. We thank the Globally Ballin Network for helping us out. Claudia, Aaron, and the rest of the guys at the back. Of course, we'd like to greet our birthday celebrants from this past week. All the past guests: Cho Season, Sunny Kabatu, Willie Marshall, Kinito Henson, and Dodot Jaworski. It's the birthday of Coach Jaworski's son today.
Oh, Thomas,
Well,
happy
Jaworski.
birthday.
Okay, so happy birthday to you, gentlemen and gentlemen, and of course to Darren as well, an advanced greeting. So that does it for episode 150. We are now in the books for Noel Zarate and for Sid Ventura. My name is Charlie Cuna. This was an Eternity of Basketball, episode 150. We will keep moving on to 151 next week. Wait for the name of our next guest. We'll announce it by Monday or Tuesday on our Facebook page. Daren Queenan, As they say in the Philippines, mabuhay. Cheers.
Boy.
Maraming
Salamat.
salamat.
And
Thank
do
you
me
so
a
much.
favor, if you see my fellow teammates, tell them Daren Queenan says hello.
I'll probably see some of them in
Later,
a bit.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
saw
at the
later.
Alvin
game.
actually. I saw Alvin a
gonna
couple
tell
of
them.
days ago. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to
gonna tell
mention
them.
you were the guest.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Daren Queenan, ladies and gentlemen, on an eternity of basketball. We are going to say goodbye and God bless you all till next week. Maraming
Thank you very
salamat.
much.
Mabuhay kayo. Thanks,
Salamat,
Daren.
Daren.
Take it easy.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank
All
you.
right. Likewise.